Hey everyone, welcome to the Industry Show. I'm your host Nitin Bajaj, and joining me today is Noor Magesh. Noor, welcome on the show.
Hi, Nitin. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Pleasure is all ours. So let's get started with who is Noor.
Who is Noor? I'm a mother, migrant Australian. I'm from Melbourne. Now I'm a startup founder, consulting security architect. You can say a lot of things. I guess it has evolved since over the years. It has evolved. So the things that I'm proud of is being a mother and a startup founder is the two biggest things that I've done so far, and I continue to strive to be the best I can.
And I think in both those roles, you've created something and you're nurturing it, and we'd love to hear a little more about that journey. So tell us a little more about one of your babies, Archimigo.
Thank you. Yeah, it is the right word, nurturing. So it's almost like a baby. So it's 2.5 years old now. So it did take about a little over 12 months to conceive from an idea to a product. So as I said, I'm a security architect. I have a consulting business as well, so which I started with my husband in 2015. And myself, my husband also a security architect, so he's been working in the industry for a while. So what we noticed as a gap in the industry while working with the enterprise clients, we put that into an idea, and I quit my full-time job and set up a team, worked on the product for 12 months, and that's how Archimigo has come. Archimigo is kind of two words together, architect and an amigo. So that's Archimigo. So essentially, we're automating a security architecture lifecycle. So starting from the design, continuously validate the security controls that you have designed, and then enforcing them in real time is what Archimigo does. It's a software as a service, and we currently focus on public cloud providers and any application built on cloud.
And I know you said you're just getting started with it. Give us a sense for one, who's your ideal customer, and then also in terms of what's the size and scale and the geographies you're serving.
So the ideal customer is anyone who's building and managing application on cloud at this stage. Initially, through my experience, I've noticed the gap in the enterprise level, but during our pilot and MVP stage, we realized that this is the problem for everyone. It doesn't matter how big or small the business is. If they're building a product on cloud, they need to have they can use Archimigo. That reduces a lot of their pain points in managing the security of the application. So currently we do have I have an enterprise customer in Australia. We are based in Melbourne, so most of our customers are in Asia Pac, and we also have customers in Europe and Middle East. So we have both end of the spectrum, startup customers and enterprise customers, and we are breaking into the market within the consulting market as well.
That's great. So let's talk about, as any startup founder and any entrepreneur, there is quite a few challenges that we come across. What is the one big challenge that you're facing right now?
So the one big challenge being a female founder is the visibility. So especially in the security or infosec world, there's not a lot of female leaders around, but it is much better now. Like when I started this when I started this company, there wasn't much exposure that I got. In fact, I participated in the only cybersecurity accelerator in Australia last year. It's called SecuRight, and a lot of application they have received, and they did shortlisted about 15 companies to do the final round, and I was the only female founder in that.
Wow.
So, and I got through, obviously, and you don't have the female founders don't have the same experience as the male founders. Sometimes, when I do demo or presentation to a customer, they still wanted to see the other co-founder, which is my husband. So it's kind of that breaking that barrier. It was very challenging, but on the other side, working with the customers, that empathizing with the customer and all of that come naturally. So I have a plus and minus being a female founder that way, and also I have a good support network around me. So if the fellow founders are in the same cohort as the accelerator program or the mentors that I got, so they're all very supportive. So that actually helped me get through that barrier. So I think we will be facing the same issue when we fundraise, which we are starting to do now. But I lean on the support group, and I'll get through that stage as well.
As challenging as it is, I'm glad about two things. One, that things are getting better, right? And two, that you're a part of the solution. So
thank you.
As I talk about challenges, the one obvious thing that comes off of it is opportunities, right? And security specifically is now top of mind for various reasons. What is the one big opportunity you are targeting?
Specifically, now everyone has going through the digital transformation. So whether they're big or small or legacy business to up and coming startups, they all going on cloud, and they all recognize the challenges in building and managing applications on cloud. So I don't have to do a lot of customer discovery and tell them what the problem is. They already understand the problem now. So I had to bridge the gap between their need and my product. So that's pretty much what I'm doing recently. So we are talking to a couple of customers that could be a bigger opportunity in North America for us. Unfortunately, I can't talk about in specific, but I can tell you we are looking into break into a market similar to developers or DevOps people who are more leaning towards getting a tool that they can rely on security, that taken care of for the applications they're building. And startup market is a very big opportunity for us, especially in North America at the moment.
Exciting times ahead.
Thank you.
So, let's look back in the rearview mirror and talk about either a success story or a lesson learned. And it doesn't have to be just with Archimigo or even your professional life. Just anything that stands out to you, whether it's success or something that you learned from.
I'm actually an engineer. I'm an electrical engineer. So when I started my career in Australia, I was working for an electricity retailer, and then I had my first child, and I had to take a break to look after my daughter. And there was about 8 months gap in that time. So I couldn't get back into the same job because I had to quit my job to look after my daughter. So there was an 8-month gap. So I didn't want it to go back into that. So I found a job in a bank. It's kind of, I never thought I would work in a bank because it's nowhere near what I learned, what I do and all of it. But I actually put my 100% effort into learn finance, I guess. So that I got into a bank. Then I realized that it's not my calling, but I wanted to come back to the technology side. That's when I started my journey with security. So I did my studies, and I was also doing my master's in project management. It's kind of went hand in hand with what I was doing at the time and also what I was trying to do in the future. So I learned from that, and then I had my second child. This time, again, I had to take a break because my first daughter was going to school, going to start school, and she got special needs. So I had to take a break again. But this time, what I did was I didn't actually, I didn't stop doing my work. Instead, I started a company. So I realized the first time, quitting the job, and I know the family is important, but quitting a job, it actually puts a dent in the career path. So what I did was I did quit my job or took a break, but I started a company. So that means I'm continuously employed or in the industry. So that kind of what I learned from the previous experience and didn't do that again. And in the bank, I was part of the innovation program there. So we help the clients to solve their problem through technology. So I was helping a lot of clients solve their problem. And I realized, okay, maybe it's time to solve what we actually wanted to solve. And then that's when I had the light bulb moment and tried to find the gap and then start building the product. So it's kind of my first pivot was in 2010, and my second pivot is in 2014, 2015.
That's an amazing story. That's it's it tells a lot about the grit and also about conviction, right? That you presented with the same opportunity, you kind of doubled down, and you had more responsibilities, you had more on your plate, and you just said, "I'm just going to take this on." So that's
I
the
think
spirit of
I think it's
entrepreneurship.
I guess that actually comes as a mother, but it's a crazy period. When I was pregnant with my second daughter, I had a child that I had to look after, and I was working full time. I was studying full time, and I literally took 4 exams a week before I delivered my second daughter. And I still remember the lady at the exam hall said, "You're not going to have the baby in the exam hall, are you?" And I said, I try not to, because I want to get through this exam. So
Wow.
it was crazy times, but I'm proud of that.
Well, and now you have a story to tell.
Yes, exactly.
So, no, let's go further there and talk about some one-line life lessons that you
Mm-hmm.
want to share with us.
Um, quite a few, but I'll share a few.
Sure.
The first one is I'll start from the very beginning. Um, Exist on your own terms.
Hmm.
So, meaning you make your own decisions. Doesn't matter whether it is rebellious or not. That makes you stand out, and then you stick with them because you made those decisions, and you can be proud of it. Whether it is good or bad, you can learn from it, and you can be proud of that. That attitude actually came from my grandfather. So I spent a lot of time with my grandfather when I was little. Um, he is man of his words, and like I'm coming from a Muslim family. So
Mhm.
my grandfather, he is very fond of communism. Like back, he was born in 1910 or 14, I can't remember now. So he tells me, because he lived or he went to school during when the British rule was
Mhm.
there. So he tells us a lot of stories, and love for mathematics probably came from him as well. And he never goes to the namaz or anything like that, but he follows every single rule that Islam says. Like, you don't accept interest from the bank, or you donate and all of that. He does everything right. So, and he was the only one who does not go to mosque on the Ramadan day. So he was rebellious. They call him a rebel in the street. It was fascinating as a child, so to listen to his story. So I kind of absorbed most of that knowledge and the things that he shared. So I stuck with it. Obviously, I can do that on my own when I'm just myself, but then I have a family, for example. When I decided to quit my job, that means I have to speak to my husband to make sure that, because at that time that I quit my job, I didn't know how long it's going to take to develop the product, or whether it is going to develop into a product. So I do speak to people who are going to be affected by my decisions, but ultimately the decision is mine. I have learned from my decisions previously, and I was proud of that. So it's good.
I love that.
Thank you. And the second one is opportunities don't just happen. You have to create them. Yeah. So, being a person of color, I did not actually realize that until I come to Australia, or you're in a work, because you look different to everyone else, and the gravity of where are you from, that question didn't hit me until I face that question every single time, wherever you go, wherever you meet new people. So I don't dwell too much into it, but at the same time, I started to recognize a pattern, and the opportunities are available, but the amount of people competing for that opportunity is so much. I was one of three daughters, so obviously you don't get, I'm the first one, so I kind of have to let go of a lot of opportunities, so my sisters can have that, maybe an extra pie or something like that. I don't know, it's just it kind of there. But I realized after finishing my studies, I spent probably 2-3 months going to interviews in Chennai, back in India. Every single day you have to go to 2 to 3 interviews, because I finished in 2002, so that's right after the Y2K problem, so there are a lot of people out of job.
Yes.
So I realized then and there that, okay, if there is opportunity available, you go grab them, but if it is not, you need to create them. So that journey started from there, and then I realized every single time it actually helped me. That lesson helped me. And startup is, again, there is opportunity, but if there isn't, you have to make that opportunity happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So true. And I can relate to pretty much most of those. I'm the eldest in the family, so we are expected to sacrifice. And in terms of, I'm an immigrant too, so I've seen, bits and pieces of that myself, where, you're not one of the group, and also in terms of, especially because you're not entitled to anything, we're almost inclined to create opportunities because we don't expect they'll be given to us.
Exactly. And it's kind of, I never asked for anything. And now I'm starting to say no to opportunities that I see that, okay, they just need you as a tokenization opportunity. I'm like, no, I'll make my own.
Yes.
I'll make my own, and if it comes on my merit, I'll take it. Yeah. So that's how it kind of evolved. The other side of that, opportunities don't happen. Yes, I don't want that type of opportunities because it's different. So I can actually relate to what you're saying as well. Definitely, the sacrifice, you kind of do it anyway because you're so used to that.
Yes.
You don't even
Unfortunate.
recognize that
Yeah.
you're yeah. Yeah. The next one I have is don't make the same mistake twice.
Mm-hmm.
And because the ultimate objective there is to learn from the first mistake, because if you don't learn for the first time, you're not going to learn again. So that's what I feel. So it helped me because the my husband and we are both electrical engineers. Now we are both architects. At one point in time, he almost earned double the amount of me. That's when it hit me. Okay, so you both started at the same time, same age, same degree, but you kind of put yourself in front of to say, okay, I'm going to quit the job and then be there, be for my child and all of that. That's great. Otherwise, I would have regretted it later because of mother's guilt and all of it. But then I realized, okay, this is a mistake that I need to learn from. And then next time, I didn't do that, which helped me. And also, the very first time when I joined like the job in the retailer, I had a manager who was a little bit critical because, and I realized that she was discouraging me to apply for other roles because she wanted to retain me in the team, because if I go, someone else have to replace. I didn't realize that, and so because she's also nice to me and all of it, so I'm like, you don't realize that, so you're so naive that way. And I realized that in one occasion, because this one person I really didn't want, she didn't it kind of happened like similar to what Rachel in Friends her manager does it to her. So I realized that, like, now I connect the dots. And then next time I decided, when I go to a different, like when I went to the bank, I did not actually expect for them to endorse me. Like, there is a process, like if you're applying for an internal position, you have to get a manager's approval. Obviously, I didn't expect that to happen again, but that was always on my mind, that you should not wait for them to endorse you. You actively go and find the opportunity, and then you can talk to them after. So I'd set a time limit, and then if I didn't get anywhere within the time limit, you just on your own, you find a job somewhere else. It doesn't have to be from the same organization. So and I do that everywhere, like don't make the same mistake twice. I do that everywhere, and I tell that to my team as well. Don't do the same mistake twice, because you're actually not learning from it the first time, and you're spending more time fixing that now again. So it's kind of worked well. And the next one is, it's not about winning, it's about not giving up. So that's,
love that.
Thank you. So it's from the startup journey, because it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So when I quit my job in 2017, end of 2017, I actually enrolled myself to run in a Melbourne Marathon the following year, 2018. And because I was quitting my job, I took a career break from the bank. It was like a well-paid job. I was happy and all of it. I had an amazing manager. So essentially, I'm sabotaging myself again, which is I'm going against my previous advice. So what I did was, okay, I'm going to actually enroll put myself to run a Melbourne Marathon. Nothing works, I can come back to the bank because it's a career break. I can come back to the bank at the same position, and at least I can spend the time to train for the marathon. Yeah, it's difficult. it's grueling, and it's the same with setting up being a startup founder as well. I had to travel to India 4 times to set up a company, find a team, deal with the team, build their skills and everything else. And it doesn't happen, straight away. So you just have to take one day at a time. And I also like I enrolled myself in to run a marathon. I also signed up to exhibit my MVP in RSA US.
Nice.
I never been to RSA US event. I've been to the Asia Pac one, but the Asia Pac and US like 10 times, like the US one will have 10 times more people.
Yes.
Because it's the event for security people. Yeah. So imagine you don't have a product, you haven't registered for a company yet, you're still working on your MVP. I already paid $20,000 to exhibit. So that's just the stand. So so that's kind of, I put myself on the very edge. So it's like the same thing as running the marathon. You have to finish 42 kilometers. Yeah. So you can't get through like that. Yeah, I finished my marathon, and also I exhibited in the RSA with the MVP, and I got rave reviews from all the public cloud vendors. But I did pivot right after that based on the feedback. Sure. I got, yeah, which is good.
That's amazing. That's 2 in a row.
Thank you. The last one. So I took this one from the vice president. I may be the first, but not the last. Yes. So it has more power. Yes. Recently, I turned 40. Yes. So my husband actually contacted all my university friends and friends from India, friends that I know for the last 20 years, to tell, make a video about me and to say what they actually think about me and what do they learn and all of that. Maybe share a memory. So quite a bit of people actually said, we are actually really, really happy for you because, the person that we know is doing very well in the business and, architect and all of it. Particularly one friend, she's in Melbourne. She's also same age as me. They have same age kids. And she said she's also in technology. She's a Salesforce consultant. We both consult, that means we have to renew contracts every now and then. And she also has the similar experience as me. She's one of 3 girls and all of it. And she says every time she speaks to me, she gets inspired and then she wants to go on, do more things. Awesome. She told me that as a, I take it as a, maybe she's picking on me, like just making fun of me or something like that. And she said that in the video as well. And I realized it's actually true because she's not messing up with me. It was actually true for her. So I understand that, okay, you are doing something that none of your friends do or none of your peers do, but that gives an edge or a nudge to someone else, and they get inspired. And that's what that's what I wanted to do, because I always think about, I have 2 girls, so I always think about I have to be a role model. If I ask them to do something, then I should actually do that first. So yes. I always think that they're going to follow, or whatever a passion that they have, and they have a confidence to go after it. And I take that responsibility very, very clearly. So I realized that without actually knowing, you can inspire people. So you have responsibility to be get ahead and be good at whatever that you do, and try and include more people into the journey so they can learn from it as well, I guess.
Yeah, and I think, you use the right word there, inspiration, right? Whether it's friends, family, or even children. And once they see, and they form their own role models, right? They find their own, and it gives them that courage that, look, my mom is doing this, or here is something that, we didn't think was even an option, but yeah, it is. So it inspires them to think big and also do those things that they may not have otherwise done. And this kind of relates directly back to your first lesson, right? Just be your own. And so yeah, thank you for sharing these. These are amazing one-liners.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Noor, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for making the time to be with us. We would love to stay in touch and see how you're progressing on your journey, and looking forward to seeing you in person pretty soon.
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate your time and effort doing this as well. Have a good day.
You too. Thanks a lot.